It is the same as a star. So this is Venus in good focus. I'm going to get the focus wrong on purpose. How is it? It shines just like the stars that Bible fundamentalist bastards show you. You can see Jupiter's 4 moons. Now let's blur the focus. Is that the same as scammers show you stars? After getting the focus right again, try lowering the ISO to the lowest level. How is it? Is it the same Jupiter you saw in your textbook? If you increase the ISO, Jupiter will shine brightly, making it impossible to see the surface. If you blur the focus there, Jupiter will turn into a fake star that biblical principled swindlers show you every day. Shall we observe Saturn this time? Now let's blur the focus. Saturn's light is weak, so it's hard to see when out of focus. Now, let's lower the ISO to 400. Is it the same Saturn you saw in your textbooks? Is it a little dark? So let's increase the ISO to 800. Shooting Saturn with correct ISO and precise focus makes it completely different from the planets of Bible fundamentalist psychopaths. So, you guys, don't circulate manipulated videos of fanatics on social media anymore. To be clear in advance, I am the person who, like you, is convinced that the Earth is flat, not spinning. I live in South Korea, and in 2019 I published 1,000 copies of a 700 pages book proving the contradiction of the globe Earth theory with my own money and distributed them to the public almost free of charge. I also make YouTube videos. I have been producing videos that prove the contradiction of Kepler's law, Newton's law of universal gravitation, Einstein's theory of relativity, and the Big Bang theory. The videos had English subtitles, but now you guys can't watch my videos with English subtitles because my channels have always been deleted by Google. I am very sorry about that. Anyway, I just bought Nikon's P1000 for one reason: to see with my own eyes what real stars look like. The stars shown in the media look like this. The stars that appear in the videos of YouTubers also look similar to the stars in textbooks. However, the appearance of stars photographed by flat earthers is completely different. Their stars aren't a globe, they're shaped like intangible mass of energy, right? Sometimes it changes shape spontaneously and sometimes it is reflected as if it is submerged in water. When uploading videos like this, they always quote a verse from Genesis. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Biblical fundamentalists have been making videos of stars in the water for several years and constantly uploading them, and the reason is because of this verse in the Bible. They are claiming, the ruffling of the stars is clear evidence that the celestial sphere is covered with water, so the Bible is absolute truth. The evidence presented by both sides is very different. So I decided to buy a Nikon P1000 because I wanted to see if anyone's claim was true. However, a benefactor donated $700 to me, and I was finally able to purchase it 3 weeks ago. To start with the conclusion. The videos of the Bible fundamentalists are all fabricated. The images that shimmer as if the stars are trapped in the water are all distorted images because the three elements, ISO and focus and camera shake, were not properly observed. These three elements are rules that must be followed in order to take video of stars. If these three elements do not match, namely high ISO, wrong focus and camera shake, if these three bad factors overlap, the star will completely lose its original shape and become wavy as you see now. Now, I'll explain it through a video I filmed myself. Since the stars are not visible under the daylights, I will explain while looking at less than Doosan Weave greater than apartment, which is 2.1 kilometers away from my house. This is the apartment. If you zoom in slowly, you can see the signboard that says less than Doosan Weave greater than in English at the top of the apartment. Tighten the ball head with the sign centered on the monitor. And when you take your hand off the camera, the angle drops down, right? This is because the P1000 has a long lens. So the weight is shifted to the front. So you have to set the shooting point higher than the target and tighten the ball head, but since you can't accurately predict how far the angle will fall, you can't get it right. Shall we try again? Unscrew the ball head again, adjust it to a higher place, and tighten it. Wow, so lucky that the signboard is fixed in the middle of the screen. What if you zoom into the maximum in this state? Still, it goes off screen a bit like this. It is almost impossible to hit such an exact target. I don't know if it's possible with a tripod that cost a few $1,000s. I've never used it though. Anyway, you can never hit an accurate hit with a ballhead tripod that costs $100. So, you grab the camera and put strength in your hand to adjust the angle you wanted like this. However, in this case, there will be a fatal problem that you cannot take your hands off when photographing the stars, right? When you put your hand on the camera vibrates continuously like this. 'Cause you're straining your hand, but it can't be maintained at the same intensity. Besides, because you breathe, blood flows through the veins in your hand, and your pulse beats, you can't avoid the trembling of the image as long as you hold your hand to the camera. So, shall you take your hand off it? Doesn't the screen shake when you take your hand off? Oh, of course, sometimes the camera shakes because of the wind. However, since the tremors caused by natural phenomena cannot be stopped by anything, we have no choice but to endure them, right? But taking your hands off the camera is a rule that must be followed when shooting video. What would it look like if you took a video of the stars with your hand on the camera? Now, this is the real Venus filmed with your hand off the camera. Only the right side of Venus is visible. Did it have almost the same phase as the moon that rose on that day? But in this state, if you put your hand on the camera, it will look like this. Venus rotates rapidly in a small circle. Is it just like a whirlpool? It completely loses its original appearance. This causes huge distortion. Now, another star filmed on the same day. Venus was slowly setting toward the horizon, low in the western sky, with the moon set to Venus's upper left. While I was zooming in to film the moon, I noticed a star that I could not see with the naked eye on the lower left of the moon. It also looks like it's spinning at an incredibly fast speed. This is also because the angle doesn't match well, so I'm adjusting the angle with my hand's power, so the camera shakes and it looks like this. The stars never swirl like that. Let's look at another star. Its elevation angle was close to 90 degrees. So I almost lost my neck and both shoulders while filming this star. Because the elevation angle of this star was too high, I couldn't set the angle of the tripod exactly, so I had to hold the camera with my right hand and adjust the angle with force. However, when zooming in out of focus, it looks the same as the stars in the fucking videos of the Bible fundamentalists. When I focus, it swirls like this again. It's because I'm controlling the camera by force. This is because the screen shakes like this when I put my hand on the camera. To take a proper video of stars, you must let go of your hand so that the camera never shakes. However, the problem is that it is almost impossible to precisely position the star at the desired point on the screen because you cannot accurately predict how much the angle will change when you release your hand. That's the dilemma. So I came up with an expedient. That's just using a cheap tripod as a stand I used in the past. Position the target at the top of the screen, then prop up the lens with the old tripod. If you fix the lens like this, you will be able to take your hands off the camera and you will be able to shoot clear images without shaking. ISO is just as important as camera shake. These two pictures were taken of the same target at the same time, with the left one taken at the lowest ISO and the right at the highest ISO. If you shoot at the highest ISO in bright sunlight, so you can't see anything in your pictures. Even when shooting stars, the ISO should be adjusted to the lowest level. Only then can the star's original shape and color be captured in your camera. But before that, you need to do some preliminary work. Filming the stars is very troublesome. Because the moon is large and has strong light, it can be captured right away in the camera even at the lowest ISO. However, stars are not captured well at the lowest ISO because of their small size and weak light. So, first get the correct angle with the highest ISO, then lower the ISO again to shoot. If the ISO is high, the stars will only shine white like this. You cannot capture the original shape and texture of the stars. But you have to stop shooting to adjust the ISO. ISO cannot be adjusted during recording. But while you adjust the ISO and hit the record button again, the star just goes off screen. Stars move incredibly fast. It only takes 10 seconds from end to end of the screen. Moreover, even if the angle is adjusted considering the speed of the stars, after pressing the record button to stop it, pressing the menu button several times to change the ISO to the lowest and pressing the record button again, the angle is already distorted. Then, to find the stars again, you have to raise the ISO to the highest and then zoom out and zoom in again. This is really annoying. As a result, Bible fundamentalists don't lower the ISO and shoot while holding the camera tightly with their hands. So what happens? They can never take the video of real stars. The most important of all is focus. Let me show you how important focus is. This is in good focus. Let's break the focus now. Are the letters completely missing? You will have no idea that it was text. It is the same as a star. So this is Venus in good focus. I'm going to get the focus wrong on purpose. How is it? It shines just like the stars that Bible fundamentalist bastards show you. You can see Jupiter's 4 moons. Now let's blur the focus. Is that the same as scammers show you stars? After getting the focus right again, try lowering the ISO to the lowest level. How is it? Is it the same Jupiter you saw in your textbook? If you increase the ISO, Jupiter will shine brightly, making it impossible to see the surface. If you blur the focus there, Jupiter will turn into a fake star that biblical principled swindlers show you every day. Shall we observe Saturn this time? Now let's blur the focus. Saturn's light is weak, so it's hard to see when out of focus. Now, let's lower the ISO to 400. Is it the same Saturn you saw in your textbooks? Is it a little dark? So let's increase the ISO to 800. Shooting Saturn with correct ISO and precise focus makes it completely different from the planets of Bible fundamentalist psychopaths. So, you guys, don't circulate manipulated videos of fanatics on social media anymore. Let's see another unnamed blue star. How is it? It's out of focus with the highest ISO, so it's the same star that scammers show you, right? However, the wind was so strong that day that it was impossible to ascertain what the star actually looked like. Their manipulation is not limited to this. Some of them are holy shit. So, let's look at this. Something keeps obscuring the stars, right? In this scene, it looks like a human hand. Then this fucking guy claims that this might be the hand of God. He is so crazy. Is God playing the game of covering the star with his hand because he has nothing to do? What bullshit is this? Who's the guy doing this? They're the scammers filming this video. Now, this is a video I filmed yesterday morning. This looks just like the stars they show you guys, right? So is this really star? Absolutely not. This is a warning light hanging from an electricity pylon installed on the mountain in front of our house. This is in focus. This is out of focus. If you zoom in on a distant light, out of focus, it shines just like a star in a biblical fundamentalist video. If someone were to stand right next to a light and cover it with his hand, they would get this garbage video, right? In short, they are doing all kinds of manipulation. Maybe those motherfuckers forgot to focus the camera. People who challenge shooting stars have taken a lot of other things before that. So they know that if the camera is out of focus, the shape of the target is completely distorted. In a word, those motherfuckers know better than anyone else that this is a distorted image that is out of focus, but they are deliberately filming out of focus images. Why? Because if shoot like this, the stars are reflected as if they were submerged in water. Because the Bible, which is a fake Bible in the plan of the Jesuits, says, "And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so." Because Bible fundamentalists who are paralyzed by the delusion of the fake Bible will shout hallelujah after watching this video and give all kinds of praise to this fucking scammers who manipulated this garbage video. And because many people who have been hesitant for a while will open the church door and come in, hooked on this damn video. There is conclusive evidence that this is not a real star, but a lamp. As I have already shown you, the speed of stars is very fast. It only takes 10 seconds from end to end of the screen. However, in this video, the star is standing still, not moving at all. But there are no stars that do not move. Therefore, it can only be a distant light, not a star. That's not all. As I've pointed out many times, these nerdy motherfuckers are talking bullshit again. When the Falcon takes off, it spews something, and these fucking Bible fundamentalists claim it's water covering the heavens. However, Falcon's movement line draws a semicircle like this. And something spews out from the middle. If indeed this is the water covering the celestial sphere, then this line is the line of the dome covering the Earth. The Falcon launches from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida in the southeastern the USA and Vandenberg Air Force Base in California in the western the USA. From the Kennedy Space Center, the Falcon is launched into the Bermuda Triangle, which extends eastward, so it is said that the line of the dome is formed like this. And since the Falcon is launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in the west of the USA into the Pacific Ocean spreading west, it is said that the line of the dome is formed like this. In other words, the lines of the dome on the east and west sides of the American continent are formed in opposite directions. And the dome always starts at the launch site. So, does that mean that the American land between them exists outside the dome? What nonsense is that? I never talk nonsense. Bullshit is the preserve of you Bible fundamentalists. According to your claims, there will be hundreds of domes in the Americas like this. Was I wrong, you idiots? Moreover, the maximum altitude of fake space rockets is less than 10 kilometers. However, at that altitude, it meets the water surrounding the dome and its circulation is bent, causing splashes. In the flat Earth theory, the height of the dome is 10,000 kilometers and the altitude of the Sun and Moon is 4,800 kilometers. But the Falcon already collided with the dome at an altitude of 10 kilometers and drew a parabola. This means that the height of the dome is 10 kilometers, not 10,000 kilometers. Then the diameter of the Earth we live on would be only 20 kilometers. Do you see now that all the talk of Bible fundamentalists is drool talk? They don't have brains. Their brains are smaller than amoebas. 3 years ago, I explained the fact that their claim was wrong several times with my YouTube videos. If they were normal human beings, they would easily admit their mistakes and not repeat the same mistakes. However, because they are amoeba, they continue to repeat the same drool talk over and over again, ignoring my kind explanation. They are deaf and blind. So what made them deaf and blind? It is a fake Bible. The Bible is the Jesuit plan. That's what made them blind and deaf. The greatest delusion in the world is religion. Among them, Christ's delusion is the most serious. If they can't get away from it, they can't be real human forever. The deluded Christian focuses only on proving that the verses of the Bible are absolute truth until he dies. So they glorify the Bible with all sorts of lies without facing the reality. In order to live as a true human being, you must throw the Bible into the fire as soon as possible. We don't have much time left now. If you don't wake up before then, you can't avoid the judgment of fire that you've been waiting for so long. Please calm down. How long are you going to live struggling in this hell? After all, who will benefit the most from these videos? Church administrators like priests and pastors, right? Because the faithful are money. And when the number of church women increases, the sexual desire of church managers is automatically resolved. They see the faithful only for money and sex. Besides that, there are some crazy people in Christianity. Fanatics who are convinced that the more people they attract to church, the more likely they are to go to heaven when Jesus returns. They are psychopaths who think that if they can increase their chances of going to heaven, they can only increase the number of followers, even if they lie. Whatever the reason, these scum who are trying to achieve their goals by distorting the truth are fanatics, and Christianity full of the faithful who are enthusiastic about these fanatics can only be a pseudo-religion organization. You must get out of the confusion of Christianity as soon as possible. As I have said many times, the Bible is the plan of the less than Jesuits greater than that reduced this world to hell. It is by no means a revelation of the Creator. In my 66th video, Genesis, I proved why the Bible can only be a fabrication of the Jesuits. Eve did not receive the punishment of childbirth because she ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If women's childbirth is really the Creator's punishment, then only humans should give birth. Other animals should never suffer childbirth. That way, only humans are punished for the original sin committed by Adam and Eve. However, all types of females cannot escape the pain of childbirth. Then, is it really because of Eve's original sin that you suffer in childbirth? Unless you're an idiot, you'll know that Genesis is lying. You will be able to realize that Eve never committed original sin, and that the Creator never punished humans. Childbirth is not a punishment, but the greatest gift from God. God lives forever, but we humans don't live 100 years. Producing descendants who can continue to live on my behalf is the greatest blessing, comparable to God's eternal life. The Bible lies that childbirth, the greatest blessing bestowed by God, is an original sin, and distorts it as if it were God's punishment. Why? It is to give legitimacy to the second coming of Jesus. What is the key to the second coming of Jesus? Even if demons give you all kinds of pain, you must never resist. Because that is also the Creator's will and plan. It is only the process of atonement to wash away the original sin committed by Adam and Eve, so accept all the pain. If a grandmother commits murder, should her daughters and granddaughters also be punished for the murder? There is no system in the world as unreasonable as guilt by association. However, the core of Christianity is this guilt by association system. Why? To pass on to you the guilt for sins you did not commit. That way you guys will come to church carrying a bag of money so you won't be punished. And when the pastor says he will get rid of your sins, you whores will take off your underwear with your own hands. Those who still have a little bit of rationality must get away from the delusion of religion as soon as possible. Only then can you become human. Jesus will never return. Because Jesus was a created person who didn't even exist. You must realize that the only person who can save you from this hell is you, not Jesus. The fact that the theory of original sin is a blatant lie made hastily to rationalize the theory of the second coming of Jesus. You must realize that the Bible is not God's revelation, but the plan of the Jesuits that